Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Right now, we're going to take an updated look at the Pac-12 in college basketball as of February 23rd. As is often the case with the Pac-12, there's a lot of parity overall in the conference this year. So as the season winds down, there's no top team or mid-range team that looks like they're likely to have clear betting value one way or the other on them over the last few games of the regular season. But at the bottom of the conference, Stanford and Washington State have clearly been overvalued recently, and that's looking to me like it should continue to the end of the year. At the end of January, Stanford had been missing their spreads by a lot, and since then they lost 3 of 5 against the spread, and the losses continued to be by solid margins, and the only strong ATS win they got was against Washington State, the only team clearly worse than Stanford right now. So I'd expect Stanford to continue to be generally overvalued over their last 4 games, and their 2 remaining Saturday games might be the best spots to look to fade them: at home against UCLA on the 27th, and then at Arizona on March 5th. UCLA's been up and down in conference play, but a bit more up than down, and I'm thinking that they're more likely to have an up day at Stanford and with a spread that isn't too crazy. And of course, Arizona is strong. They're at the top of the conference, and they can easily get blowout wins and covers at home against the worst of the Pac-12, which they've already done this year against both Arizona State and Washington State. So I'd look to fade Stanford in both of those spots. And then Washington State's been just awful this year, but of course great for anyone who's been fading them recently. They're 2-11 against the spread over the last 13 games, and the recent ATS losses have been by bigger margins. So I think there's no reason to think that things are going to change radically over the last 3 regular season games, all of which are on the road. I think it's highly likely that they'll lose at least 2 of those against the spread, and very possibly all 3 by margins. Then Utah and Cal are 2 other teams from the Pac-12 that have been playing well and may have some small but reliable betting value in spots going forward, despite the unpredictability and parity of the Pac-12. Utah's covered their last 3 games, and they were generally pretty impressive covers, and I'm thinking they should have some value at home against Arizona State on the 25th, and then again at home against Colorado on March 5th. Neither of those teams are particularly bad ATS-wise, but they do appear to be a bit overvalued, and probably enough so to want to fade against a team outperforming their spreads as Utah has been doing. And then Cal has really turned it around in February. They've covered their last 5 in a row, not by huge margins mostly, but by decent margins, and they do look reliable enough that I think they're more likely than not to cover 2 out of their home games against UCLA on the 25th and USC on the 28th, and their road game at Arizona State on March 5th, 2 out of those 3 games. Of course, UCLA and USC could surprise with blowout wins, unexpectedly great performances, and the lines for those games will be key, but Cal is definitely looking like a team putting it all together right now and probably still slightly undervalued by the market. And that's an updated look at the Pac-12 as of February 23rd.